For that introduction. My name is Kate Daniels, and I am going to be delivering a presentation from the Successful Club series. And the Successful Club series is a set of presentations that address the quality of club meetings. And as was stated in the introduction, if you would like to complete advanced manual speeches and move up beyond the competent communicator level, you can do so by completing advanced manuals and completing these speeches that are already prepared and deliver them to your club, and it will help ultimately both you and all the club members thrive. As you know, the Naval Postgraduate School Toastmasters Club is a thriving club. We are an excellent club, but there's always room for improvement. So as I deliver this speech, I'd like for you to think about some of the ways in which we excel as a club and some of the areas where there might be some room for improvement. And if time permits, I will pass out a model club checklist for you to take a look at and decide where you think we fit, and we can go over it together. A club's climate is a deciding factor in whether or not members become guests or whether or not those members will continue to participate at the level that we do at the Naval Postgraduate School Club. I'm sure you all remember the first day that you came into this club. You were likely greeted, you were likely given the opportunity to introduce yourself, and when you complete an icebreaker, you were likely applauded, and applauded really sincerely and generously for the work that you did. This is really a critical way that we keep members active. The following conditions do affect members' activities, attitudes toward the club, and the willingness to both join and stay in the club. The first is the learning environment. What is our Toastmasters Club room like? When you arrive at Naval Postgraduate School, oftentimes the room is already set up when you got here, which means someone, that someone being a sergeant at arms, has been in this room already and set it up so when you get here, Toastmasters is ready for you and for our meeting. When I think of the sergeant at arms, I think of Toastmasters. I think of that word, the only association I have with the term sergeant at arms, even though it has a sort of governmental historic role and a military role. I think of Toastmasters, and I think using a term like sergeant at arms makes me recognize how serious this club environment is. There's a lot of levity here. Speeches are humorous. We're able to laugh a lot at Toastmasters. But at the end of the day, the environment sets a tone of seriousness. And I appreciate that because to me, Toastmasters is very serious. I came here, like many people who came to Toastmasters, really terrified, petrified of public speaking. And so it was a sink or swim situation for me. I either got it and I did it, or I failed at my work. So this work that we do here is very serious, and the learning environment is what sets the tone for that seriousness. Another factor is member interactions. We give encouragement, feedback, support, and room to learn and grow. These unique dynamics of a Toastmasters Club influence the performance and growth of all our members. By doing the following, each of you as Toastmasters members can make a good impression on visitors, set an excellent example for new members, and demonstrate your leadership skills to more experienced members, as well as continue to enhance our club's climate. The first one is to arrive prepared and on time. I was sitting where Don Free is sitting at one Toastmasters meeting, and to my left was a gentleman who was in the U.S. Army. And I remember I came in right as the club was about to start, and he sort of leaned over and looked at me and said, "You know, if you're on time, you're late." I was never merely on time for our club meeting again. So make it a point to arrive at least 5 minutes before the meeting begins. Make sure you have all the appropriate materials, including your name tag, which when I became a CC, I never got one of those like fancy plastic ones. So I do have one that is a pin on one that I'm sorry I forgot to put on. But wear your name tag. Let the newcomers know that who you are by name. And some of the members who have been here a while longer, it helps us greet people the way that we're supposed to address each other in a professional situation like Toastmasters. It facilitates that. Also, be sure to bring your education manual so you can work on your competent leader at the same time as working on your competent communicator or advanced manuals. At the meeting, offer assistance, offer to help. Before the meeting, if the room is not set up, help set it up. Even if you're not the vice president of education, be the person who greets the newcomer who walks through the door. After the meeting, help put away materials. Be a part of the club. Volunteer for service. Be on our officer. Be a member of Toastmasters at the officer level. Participate in club contests and district contests. When I was new at Toastmasters, I remember Fred was our president. Fred was the president of this club, and the officers were always talking about the work that they do. And the first thought that I had was, I will never be an officer. I am just here to learn how to not lose it every time I have to give a speech. But, you know, that's for other people. And I wasn't going to take this out till the end of my speech, but I will go ahead and do it now, which is, I was in bed reading the Toastmasters magazine last night, and on the front page is a viewpoint from our international president, Mohammed Murad, and he says in this that the uniqueness of Toastmasters is that it relies on people to develop people. And I think that that is really well said. Toastmasters wouldn't exist without us. We don't pay dues so we come here and everything is set up and ready to go and happens without us. A successful club requires successful members participating. We get what we put in, we get out what we put in Toastmasters. And so it's really important that we volunteer for committees and offices. Last thing is to be supportive. Listen attentively during the meeting. That is how you're going to get out not just what you put in, but in offering to listen and hear what other people are doing successfully, or maybe what they need to improve on, we will ultimately improve ourselves and create the type of climate and environment that everyone will thrive in. Offer enthusiastic applause when participants approach or leave the lectern. What I learned at Toastmasters is that we actually applause when someone leaves the lectern or leaves the front of the room until they have returned back to their seat and sat down. And congratulate those who have participated in a Toastmasters meeting. Many people have never visited a Toastmasters club, and they'll rely solely on their first impression of what they saw when they got to our room, when they decide whether or not they're going to join or return. So making a first impression on our new guests is critical to our success. By using the following tips, you can help guests feel welcome and informed during their first Toastmasters meeting. Before the meeting, greet everyone in a friendly fashion. Ask them, how did they hear about the club? Why did they decide to visit our club? Be ready to answer questions. If you don't know the answer to a guest question, introduce them to the club officers so they can get the further information that they're looking for. Make an effort to befriend a guest. Not only will this make a good impression on the guest, it will allow you to earn credit toward your Competent Leader Manual and your Competent Leader Award. After the meeting, ask people that were a guest at our meeting what they thought of the meeting. Ask them if they'd like to come to another meeting. Invite them to join the club. That invitation is sometimes all it takes, is asking not only how did you like it, but are you coming back and we'd love to have you, might be the deciding factor for a guest at Toastmasters. We also need to show members that we care about them. Once a person has made the decision to become a member of Toastmasters, we must be consistent in helping them to participate and to learn. There are tips that I'm going to put on the slide behind me to help motivate both new members and existing members. Volunteer to serve as a mentor. Mentors are critical in getting the new Toastmaster through the first three speeches in the Competent Communicator Manual. Encourage a new member to present their icebreaker speech soon after they join, preferably within the next 2 or 3 meetings. Consult with the Vice President of Education, who in our meeting is Sheila Dundon, to ensure immediate participation of your mentee in basic meeting roles. Pay attention to continuing members, not just the new members. It took me, 3 years to become a competent communicator in Toastmasters. Show interest in members' progress, and it might make them achieve that award even faster than I did. Be aware of your fellow members' goals and do your best to support them. And be courteous and caring to long-time members. We must also be considerate. Be aware of your assigned meeting roles and perform them accurately and accordingly. Prepare for them. Give appropriate notice to your Vice President of Education when you're unable to fill a meeting role. Inform your Vice President of Education, Sheila, that you'll be ready to give a speech or take on a vacated role if a scheduled participant is unable to attend. I noticed in Easy Speak, which was probably not around when this presentation was drafted, that you can set goals for yourself in Easy Speak, which will help the Vice President of Education know where you're going in Toastmasters or where you would like to go, and also keep you on track. Give excellent evaluations, be positive, be honest, implement careful appraisals and thoughtful suggestions for improvement anytime you are asked to be an evaluator. Consider the project's objectives, and this is even when you're a competent leader. Be sure to read what the project's objectives are before you finish that project or meet that goal, so you know what you're working on. And in the same way, when you're evaluating someone, know what they're working on and what the goals are of the work that they're doing before you, so you can evaluate them in a way that's going to be most useful and most helpful to both the Toastmaster that is giving the speech and helpful to them to achieve the goal that is outlined in the speech. Think about the speaker's specific learning needs and recognize achievements. Congratulate speakers who have shown particular improvement. Congratulate members who have achieved recognition. You will have an opportunity to do that a lot in this club. Acknowledge individuals who have achieved an education award. And lastly, foster camaraderie. Be warm and friendly toward other members and establish a sense of fellowship in our club. If you do these things, you will find that it will be very therapeutic, not only for the club, but for you as an individual in this journey, because what we're learning here at Toastmasters is how to have, what we're learning in terms of what I'm talking about is how to have a successful club. But you will find, I think, that if we have a successful club, you're going to have a successful speaking career, because everything that we're doing to ensure the climate is good for learning in Toastmasters is going to result in a lot of support for you on your road to becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. So be sure you and your fellow club members have the opportunity to evaluate our club's climate from time to time. To facilitate that, I am going to pass out the Model Club checklist, but I don't really believe that we have time to go over it during this speech. But please take a look, and perhaps we can set aside a time where we can get back together and take a look at some of the best club's climate standards that we are meeting here at the Naval Postgraduate School Toastmaster Club. And we can also briefly discuss the ways in which we might be able to improve our club's climate. Thank you all very much.